Iraq and Afghanistan wars are conflicts that Americans now equate to forever wars. What are lessons learned from that era that can be applied today?
Well, what we encapsulate as the Iraq War was actually a series of specific policy decisions. Number one, Dasha, was whether or not to go to war. Number two was whether we should try to make Iraq into a democracy or simply replace Saddam Hussein with another dictator. And the third policy question was whether we should be engaged in nation building, in development, and so forth. Donald Trump, it appears, has taken a very different approach when it comes to Iran, much more attuned to the Venezuela model. As an analyst, when I look at who our bombs are killing, I'm actually more interested in who our bombs aren't targeting. Are they on the B list for elimination, or is this a sign of people that have a free pass because Donald Trump wants to negotiate with them? I'm also worried about something that came out of both the Iraq War and the Libya War, which is how do you secure the arms depots? In 2007, the head of the Revolutionary Guard decided that the biggest danger to the Iranian regime would be the Iranian people. So he put one Revolutionary Guard unit in each province, 32 provinces, each with their own arms depots. Do we have plans to secure each of those arms depots? And if you're going to do that, can you do that without boots on the ground? One final quick point, and David remembers this well as well, but in 2003, during the Iraq War, there was a cleric named Abdul Majid Ahoy who came back in order to take over the shrine of Imam Ali in Najaf. He was set upon by thugs and hacked to death. When people are talking about someone being appointed, maybe Reza Pahlavi, the former crown prince, it's one thing to make that appointment. It's another thing to keep that person alive without boots on the ground. This is why I'm a Russian optimist.
Well, David, the administration keeps making the point that this is not Iraq. This is not a U.S. intervention in the Middle East of administrations past. How different do you see what the White House, what Trump is doing now compared to what we have seen before?
Well, Dasha, let me build on all of the points that Michael just made. There are two goals which are not just in theory, but quite likely achievable by the use of standoff attacks by Israel and by the United States. One is the further demolishment, setting back of any nuclear enrichment program and all of the ancillary research that surrounds it. We know where the facilities are. They're accessible. They have been struck. They undoubtedly will be struck further. Iran's ability to project heft, to project strategic weight and heft through its ballistic missile program, that's also a major target. And Brad Cooper, the head of CENTCOM, has said 86% of the capacity to launch missiles has been eliminated. Drones remain a challenge, but they also are being targeted. You can come to a point, not as we are speaking on Wednesday, but you can come to a point in the predictable future when Iran will not possess these resources in any strategic sense. What you cannot, I believe, predictably achieve is a directed regime change that somehow establishes a very different but still coherent, not chaotic, with arms released into many hands, Iran. That is a much more difficult challenge. Now, if we were talking just 3 or 4 hours previously, I would have argued to you that Donald Trump has left himself, has articulated an off-ramp on this, which is the ability at some point in coming days or a few weeks to say, look what I've done. I have devastated the resources of this security state. It's now up to the Iranian people to make their choices. But the president, in media interviews in these last few hours, has said, I will have a role in the selection of the next supreme leader.